Hey, Bob Cohn, tell me, what Democrats out there really believe that 9/11 was an inside job, or that terrorists should be respected as moms and dads like Rosie O'Donnell? I don't think you can really make that nexus, can you?
Well, there are a lot of extreme liberal blogs out there that are making that connection. Unfortunately, it's there. And I think what the Republicans are doing this time is not as much attacking a celebrity or tying the Democrats to a celebrity as much as tying someone who's making these extreme statements to the Democratic Party. It's not unusual for a party to do this. I'm holding in my hand a printout from 3 weeks ago of the Democratic Party, the Democratic National Committee's own website, and here it's Howard Dean blasts Ann Coulter and calls upon GOP presidential candidates to denounce it. In other words, the Democrats,
reasonable.
3 weeks ago, the Democrats tried to tie extreme statements made by Ann Coulter to the Republicans. It's done by either party all the time, so I don't think this is unusual. I'm really not sure why we're here talking about this today, but I think the real tie to be made here is what people have been doing, especially O'Reilly, and that's tying the Disney company, which is employing Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell is no Tinkerbell. She may be a little goofy, but she's no Tinkerbell. She's no Snow White, and this can hurt the long-term brand of Disney.
We're here talking about it tonight because this actually works.
That's right.
John Edwards actually raised a lot of money sending out that letter, talking about, not the Howard Dean letter, but sent out his own fundraising letter, and it brought in big bucks for his campaign.
Yes.
There's no doubt, though, Republicans will raise a lot of money from their base doing the same thing.
I agree with that, and I agree exactly with what Steve said. It is a good tactic to use. It's going to help them. It's certainly better than attacking Obama directly or attacking Hillary Clinton. To attack and use Rosie O'Donnell is going to help the Republicans, but it's not unusual. The Republicans aren't being bad guys here. The Democrats have done the same thing. That's politics, and they're going to use it to their advantage.
Joe, I want to clarify. I did not say it was a good idea. I said I understand why they're doing it, because they don't have the courage and they don't have the goods to go after Barack Obama because he's so clean and fresh right now, and we in the media have fallen in love with him until we decide we're going to try to take him down.
He's clean and fresh, but maybe not articulate, right?
Oh, he's extremely articulate, and we're all comfortable saying that, Bob. And the other thing is, here's the thing, Bob, I want to make it clear, it's the Democrats who have the toughest time here. I think the Republicans are grasping at straws. Everyone knows that. It's why they're not attacking the Democratic candidate running for president. But if the Democrats blow it, if the Democrats don't handle this thing well and say, Rosie's off the wall on these things, and we totally disavow what she's saying, then they have a problem.
Yes, I agree with that completely. The Democrats should disavow what she's saying, and I think the Disney company should, either put somebody else on to respond to her or get rid of her. I mean,
that's a different issue.
Richard Wolff, it seems the Republican candidates have enough problems of their own right now. We could go into all the problems they have, but is it going to really help a Republican presidential hopeful, let's say a Rudy Giuliani or a Mitt Romney, gain some badly needed cred with conservatives to spend the next few months kicking Rosie O'Donnell around? Will that work with the base?
Well, I think Rosie O'Donnell is a pretty formidable person to take on, actually, and she does have this platform and a big fan base. It's not like Barbara Streisand. By the way, I'm still entertained by the Ann Coulter comparison. I don't know who'd be more insulted by that one, Ann or Rosie. And there is a difference here. Ann Coulter spoke at a political conference with conservatives. It was the CPAC conference.
That's right.
Rosie O'Donnell was speaking on The View, for heaven's sake. Why should Democrats disavow something that was on daytime TV? I mean,
they absolutely should.
There is Ann Coulter speaking to a political group is a very different perspective. So,
no, Richard, I disagree. I disagree. Once it's out in the public domain, once people are blogging about it, once we're talking about it, Richard, it seems to me that any Democrat who gets confronted on the campaign trail, John Edwards or anyone else, listen, Rosie O'Donnell said that building number 7, she doesn't believe that it's realistic that it could have just collapsed. She believes that somehow there's a question as to whether the U.S. was involved. When John Edwards or Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama gets asked that question and they say anything other than that's outrageous and off the wall, they have a headline on a problem.
Richard, and again, a lot of people right now may be scratching their head, but Richard, remember back in 2004, I got John Kerry in trouble with what Whoopi Goldberg said was the fact that he didn't come out
at his
and
fundraising event.
Right?
It was his fundraising event.
Right.
He had much more responsibility to disavow things. Look, you want Democratic candidates to disavow everything on every blog? It's a crazy idea. Wait a second. If a reporter asks a question, I defend the right for reporters to ask the question and expect presidential candidates candidates to answer them. That's a very different situation.
The reporters out following the campaigns are not going to be asking the Democrats those questions about should they disavow Rosie O'Donnell. They'll go ahead and ask Rudy Giuliani whether they'll disavow Ann Coulter, but you're not going to find that in the Washington press corps. No way.
How
that's
biased
not
are
true,
you?
Joe.
Of course it is.
Well, you're saying that people that David Gregory and other terrific
yeah, that's what I want to see.
Well,
yeah, I want to see the liberal press ask the tough questions, to the same kinds of questions to Barack Obama.
You can call him the liberal press, but you know that Tony Snow disavowed what he said. One second.
What are we talking about, Tony Snow? I want to see on the campaign. That's nothing to do with Tony Snow.
Bob, Tony Snow has got more credentials in the Republican Party than you'll ever have.
We're not talking about that.
He said he was sorry when he called David Gregory a liberal.
Anybody out there on the campaign, I want to hear him say.
The reason I said
Joe,
I'll make it clear. The reason I said it when I mentioned David Gregory, not because he works for this network, is because he was accused by some, including Bob, by being a shill for the Democrats. And Tony Snow, when he was there as the White House press secretary, said, "I apologize for even implying that because David, you're straight down the middle."
That's
Tony Snow. Bob Cohn, I'll let you finish it. Go.
Well, I think that if you're denying that the press corps in Washington has a liberal bias, then we can start all over again here. I mean, there's, I can't believe.
Well, let's save that debate for another night, Bob.
I just said he was going to get asked. They're going to get asked tough questions, Joe, on both what what Rosie said, what Ann Coulter says. It's easy media.
Let them ask Hillary Clinton whether they disavow Rosie O'Donnell's statement. Let's hear it this week. Let's hear one reporter ask her that question. One.
Very good. Bob Cohn, Steve Adubato. Take it out in the street. Richard Wolff, the always down-the-middle White House correspondent for Newsweek. Thank you so much for being here tonight.